All right, everyone, welcome back to Breslov, Efrat here at Shir Adol, Baruch Hashem. We had a nice minyan today, Baruch Hashem, and the weather is beautiful. Our air conditioner is working. What more can we ask for, right? Chesed Hashem Yisbarach. Okay, we are learning Lekutei Halachos. We're in Hilchos Haida'ah, giving thanks to Hashem for all the zillions of miracles He does for us all the time. Most of the time we have no idea, but just give Hashem thanks because He always has our back. He's always looking out for us. We are in Halacha Vav. Halacha Vav is very special because it's based on Likutei Moharan lesson 24. Again, teaching us the great value in doing a mitzvah b'simcha, right? And Rabbi Nachman, the Arizal, Rav Chaim Vital, the Baal Shem HaKadosh, Rabbi Nosson, are trying to get into this idea, do a mitzvah b'simcha. It's so amazing what the benefits that you have from doing a mitzvah b'simcha, better than anything else you can do. Why? Because right now we're in the 9 days, and we're trying to elevate the Shechina that's Bein HaKlipas, right? We're in this world, the world we call this world the Heichal HaTamura, right? This is the world of exchange. Everything's exchanged over here. And the Shechina, which is supposed to be glorified in the world, is down in the Offer, Bein HaKlipas. But any time a Jew does a mitzvah b'simcha, he can elevate the Shechina. Isn't that amazing? And that's why the whole vice of the Sitra Achar is trying to do is always bring depression onto Jews. In any way he can. In any way he possibly can. Today he has it real easy, right? Everyone turns on their news, and they turn on the things, and they have their... And wow, it works real good, right? Yeah. Works real good.
I mean, it's there to also give you, it makes you happy, I guess, like in a very
No, he's not trying to make you happy, yes. No. No, there's no news you turn on. We're going to tell you the good news of the day. Did they ever have that? Let's tell you the good news of the day. Good.
We want the bad news. Nobody wants. You try to having a good news channel, see how far that gets.
That's the point. So you bought the Sitracha's thing, hook, line, and sinker. We don't want good news, right? We just want to hear bad things.
Yeah.
Because I want to be depressed and down. But that's the whole point. Even Shulchan Aruch says today, "Mishenichnas av mematim b'simcha," right? Mematim b'simcha. It doesn't say asur liot b'simcha. What does mematim mean? What does the word mematim mean? You lower it, right? It means to lower it, right? But you have to still be b'simcha. You even have to be b'simcha when it's on the day of Tisha B'Av. You also have a level of joy that you're able to be able to be part of Klal Yisrael, be able to be part of the morning of the Beis HaMikdash. That's supposed to bring a person to joy as well. That I'm part of that, right? All these billions of people in the world have nothing to do with anything. But we are learning the great value of doing a mitzvah b'simcha. Okay? Hopefully we'll understand it. We're in Lamed Gimel. Lag. Okay? Here we go. Let's take it. Let's start. B'tziyata d'shmaya. V'zev Yisrael ohev es Yosef mikol banav. Ki ben zekunim hu loy. All right, we're back to the story. It says that Yisrael, because his name was changed. Remember, we learned that Yaakov Avinu's name was changed when he had the battle with the Sar Shel Esav. So now the Torah says Yisrael. Ohev es Yosef mikol banav. He loved Yosef more than all the other children. It's a question. What does it mean he loved him more than all the other children? Ki ben zekunim hulai. He was his son. He bore Yosef at Tzaddik in his older years. Zekunim beloshin rabim, right? Many. Ki hu oisik tamid lahagbir bechol pam hazikna de kedusha al bechina zikna de sitra achra. Because Yosef at Yaakov Avinu and Yosef were working all the time to overpower the idea of the zikna de sitra achra by lifting up the zikna de kedusha. It's an amazing idea. You know, many times people say, I can't do this, I'm too old. I'm old, right? I can't do this. That's all the advice of the Sitra Achra also, to bring a person to depression. But there's an idea of the Sitra, the Zikna, the Kedusha, where a person takes all his life experiences that he has, and he uses them to get closer to Hashem. That's Zikna the Kedusha. Right? You understand? Ki yeh zokin de sitra achra she'iskoi tomid lahapil es adam lidei zikna. There's a yetzer hara for this, that the person always has to feel, I'm old. What's going to be? And then people feel that they feel depressed. Right? You have people that were involved in like we were learning 2 lessons ago here. You have the Rishoyim that live their lives and they're involved in all worldly pleasures. Right? Now here's a beautiful one, right? So they like to go to restaurants and they like to chase the ladies and they like the this and the trips and all the things, right? Now, as they get older, things in their body don't work the same way they used to work, right? They can't eat what they used to eat, right? And they don't have the energy that they used to have, not the stamina and all that. They don't have it. So then they get depressed, right? I have all this money, but I can't use it. Could you imagine that, Yossi? Guy has billions of dollars, but he can't use his money. That can be more depressing than not even having the money. Right? No, think about it, right? Yeah. That's the zikna de sitra achra, okay? Dainu lahachlish es data kilu hu zoken. V'rogel b'masav. He's a zoken, and he's accustomed to his things. He's rogel. He's used to doing what he does. Rabbi Nachman gave us a stern warning on this in Sichas Haran in lesson 51. V'chein shemanu mikama tzadikim she'osa liyai zoken. And Rabbi Nosson said, I heard this from many tzaddikim. You can't be old. There's no such a thing as old. V'hachanosoi al yedei zikna de kedusha, shehu bechina zokein v'yoshei b'yeshiva. And how do you overcome the zikna de sitra achra? By working on the zikna de kedusha. Taking all your Torah, all your advice, all the things that you learned, and bringing you closer to love of Klal Yisrael, love of the Rabbeinu Shalom, love of Eretz Yisrael, bring you closer to Hashem. Hamiti bechina zokein is the word, the acronym of Ze Kana Chochma. Zokein, the kedusha, is Ze Kana Chochma. He was the one that acquired wisdom. Shu bechinas Yosef, Shu Meisif the kedusha v'chias b'chol pam. That's the idea of Yosef HaTzadik, that he constantly adds, and he's constantly increasing his kedusha upon kedusha. You're always building on it, right? We're building on it. We learned about the aliyahs and yeridas, right? Every time a person has an aliyah, and then that follows by the yerida, the purpose is not the yerida. The purpose is to go down, to go back up higher, right? So there's zakeh, the one zeh kana chachma, he understands that. So he's never bent out of shape by any yerida that he has, because he understands, as big as the yerida is, that's only going to take me to a much higher place. right? Most people get depressed also. They realize I thought I was such on such a high level, and then I wind up I did whatever I did. Now, how did I do that? Right? How did I come to do that? Right? But if you understand that you only came to do that, that was a test by Hashem. Many times HaKadosh Baruch Hu was testing the person. Okay, now you did it. Now what are you going to do? Now what are you going to do? Are you going to come closer to me now? Or is this going to drag you away? If you're on the right program and you understand that every Yerida, the Tachlis is the Aliyah, and you really believe that, and again, it's not that we learn it, we internalize it. We have to internalize these things. If we internalize them, then when we experience something, we know how to deal with it, right? We know what to do. But I'm telling you, there are people that have a Yerida and they feel, maybe I'll throw in the towel, this whole thing. I was working so long and I thought I overcame this problem. And then look, I'm doing this all over again. Right? A lot of people like that.
It's very natural.
What?
It's very natural.
It's right.
Is it natural?
Yeah.
That's the natural response? Yeah, that's right. I might as well throw the towel. It's not worth the effort.
Also, it's not worth it, right?
Do something, it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
No, but here we've been talking about a guy that could have done tshuva. For years he's doing the right thing. Then all of a sudden he stumbles. And he falls back to this thing. So they said, so what, all this stuff that I was doing, was it worth anything? That's like the Sitra Achar again, toying with the person's mind. But really, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is now testing him to see, did you really do tshuva? So I'll send you back to that same problem that you stumbled years ago, or days ago, or hours ago, right? Doesn't matter, right? And let me see what you do now. What do you do now? Right, you understand that? Let me see, what do you do now? We learned from the Arizal, when it comes to Gilgul Neshamas, that many times a neshama goes up to the next world, and the person was in this world and he made mistakes, and they tell him upstairs, they tell him, listen, you can come back down and fix the problem again. Right? So many times we learned this idea. Many times it could be a child born to a good family. Right? The child goes to yeshiva and the child grows up nice home, everything's great, and then the child goes off to derech. And the parents are scratching their head, why? What happened? And they go to this rabbi and to that one, try to explain to them, right? Well, what happened, right? This happens all the time. But really what could have been happening is that this child came back as a Gilgul because this child, in the past life, lived his life, he went off the derech, and he never did tshuva. So now HaKadosh Baruch Hu sends him back into the world again, let him grow up again in a good situation, go off the derech to see if he comes back. We never understand anything that's going on in our lives. But we have to trust in Hashem and always thank Hashem, because Hashem knows what's going on and He knows what we need. But Yosef HaTzadik is Meisev Kedusha V'chiyas B'chol Pam. Let's take Yosef HaTzadik's life. Yosef is a young man. He's learning with his father. Yaakov Avinu is teaching him all the things of Eglah. Ruf is teaching him all these different things that no one even knew at the time. Yaakov Avinu is teaching him all this thing. And he thought he's on the highest level. The next thing you know, he finds himself in a pit. Could you imagine that? Yosef was a young boy. He was 17 years old. This guy finds himself in a pit. Rashi says it was Ein Ba Mayim, but it was filled with what? Nechoshem and Akrovim, right? There wasn't water in there, but there was snakes and scorpions. 17-year-old boys in a pit. Did he say, Hashem, I'm done. I worked so hard. I could have had a good time. I could have been playing some video games. I could have been playing basketball. I could have been doing all these things. But I was learning. I was with my father. And what did I accomplish? Right? Could you imagine that, right? So what did Yosef say? Kol ma David Rachman l'tav Avid. All right, Hashem, listen, I don't know why I'm in this pit now. I have no idea. I don't know what I did. I really don't know. But it doesn't matter. You know what's good for me. So if I'm in this pit, I'll make the best of it. So can you imagine? Probably Yosef was singing, and he had a niggin or something. I don't know what he did. He was probably very happy in that pit because we know nothing happened to him. Is that possible to understand? You're in a pit with snakes and scorpions. I mean, hey, these are not scorpions are not very nice creatures, right? And they didn't affect Yosef? No. They couldn't touch him because, again, if you're besimcha, the other side can't get you. So Yosef Atzadik is constantly adding chiyas b'chol pam, always adding more chiyas, more life, more life, more life. K'mevayim mizeh b'devreinu ha'arbe b'ayim b'ilchas tefillin halacha hey. That's pretty amazing. BRI came out with their new sefer on tefillin, right? They asked me to make a promotion for the sefer, and it's just fascinating over here to see this. I was thinking like this, they're looking to raise money for the Likutei Halachos project, right? And they have different campaigns and different things to be able to raise the money. Each book costs them about $150,000 to put out a book. Each sefer they put out costs about $150,000.
How many Likutei Halachos books do you think?
There'll be probably 80.
Wow.
80.
Yeah, it's a project compared to the Schottenstein's Shas with Art Scroll. That's also about 80 books. Right, there are 3,000 pages in Likutei Halachos. The Daf is 3,000 something pages also.
Right, yeah.
Right, it's about to say that. No, so I was thinking like this to talk about this idea that, many times you could learn these beautiful ideas, and maybe you don't have the what it takes for you to process these things and to accomplish these things, for whatever reason. You don't believe in yourself, or whatever the case, it doesn't matter. But to you to be able to take your money and to invest your money into putting out a sefer that can touch the souls of thousands of Jews around the world, and you can have the schus from that, that's amazing, right? That's amazing. Even if you can benefit by the teachings as well. But even if you say, well, I don't know, I did this, so what? But you do believe in your heart that there are many people out there that can benefit by the teachings and will benefit by the teachings. So if I could take my money, which is not my money anyway, right? All the money we have is not our money anyway. It's all from. So why don't I invest my money into something really good that'll help so many people, and I'll have the benefit of being able to invest in such a wonderful project. What do you think of that? We'll see if it works.
That's why I don't know, is there a Nachman that says, invest in books?
Yeah. That's what's the yeah. V'zeh b'chinas ki ben zikunim hu loy loshen rabim. The whole pam meisiv zikna the kedusha al zikna the kedusha. He added more kedusha on top of kedusha, always adding more and more and more, building on it. Because if you build on the zikna the kedusha, it protects the person, it fortifies the person of a zikna the sitra achra. Shu b'chinas yiras Hashem taisiv yamim. How do you like that? It says in Mishlei, yiras Hashem taisif yamim. When you fear Hashem, it adds to your days. It gives you longevity. How do you like that? La'achniya levatel b'china zikna the sitra achra, in order to nullify the zikna the sitra achra. That's the feeling of being old. The feeling of being old, of the sitra achra, that I'm constantly pushed down. And it wants to just take me out of this world and move me away and bring me to more depression and more despair. But it's not. If you take the zikna, the kedusha, you become more powerful. The mind becomes sharper. And again, every time you do the mitzvah b'simcha, you add to your life both the R Ein Sof, and you add to your life from the which is amazing, right? Could you imagine you add R Ein Sof, you have the unlimited light of Hashem filling the person, straightening out the person's mind, settling the mind. If a person lives with Yishuv Adas, is the greatest thing, right? The person can have Yishuv Adas, right? You know the word Yishuv Adas, you know what it means, right? Yishuv Adas. The person has set, what? Straight. What's that?
Peace of mind.
Peace of mind. Peace of mind. No, but it's more than peace of mind. It's Yishuv Adas means he has clarity in his mind. He could think, he could process things. It's amazing. It's really amazing. Take technology again. You could take it. You know, sometimes you have in your hard drive, there's a bug. Right? There's a bug in the hard drive, but something in the hard drive, and then the whole memory of the computer gets messed up, right? They try to get a bug in there, right? A virus. Oh, what do they call them? Viruses? A virus. They want to get a virus in the computer. That's the same thing that Sitrach is trying to put the virus in our minds. The virus in the mind. Hey, you're old, you're no good, you can't do anything, it's not going to work. But when you live your life like Yosef Atzadik, Yaakov Avinu, Ben Zikunim, why is Zikunim? Why is it why is it in plural? Oh, it's in plural because he would constantly add Zikna de Kedusha on top of Zikna de Kedusha, adding more holiness to fortify against the Zikna de Sitra Achra. Anyone have any questions on this? Any comments on this? Does anyone want to challenge this? Want to challenge it?
No way.
What?
It's true.
I know it's true, but does anyone want to ask anything? Does this seem interesting? Does this seem... Okay.
I mean,
Very interesting because the sit
You what?
is just throwing stuff in your path every day. Every day.
But
He's getting-
specifically as you get older, it's just like, look, it's happening all the time. But like as you get older, I mean, the odds are you're gonna throw the towel in because look,
If you're
I am
living-
getting old, you know, things aren't working as well. I don't have as much energy. Even if I do say I led a good life, you know, and I'm a little bit crankier now. You don't know, I mean, older cranky people, you know, with it. Something's always a little bit wrong. To do this, I have to do that. They make cracks and everything, you know, bothers. Old age. This is very. You really do see this. Actually, I will say with Breslov, it made a very strong impression on me. A lot of these guys who are very like old, they have alacrity. They're jumping. They're physically. I'm not even talking about the mental state
Yeah.
yet. I'm
Also,
saying-
Liot Zaken. Asur Liot
The guy
Zaken.
that got me into Breslov, he was 80 years old. He had cancer. He was divorced a couple of times. He got into the Talmud of Ruchaim, and this guy, we go to a Simcha or something. You mean it's a little thing?
Yeah, he
You know,
would
these guys
shut-
dance, and he would hop and dance, and you know, and here I was in my 20s, and I really had trouble keeping
You couldn't keep up with him.
I remember once there being a Knesset Sefer Torah, and my older brother came with me also to it. He was this guy, and he saw it. This guy was a friend of mine. He was exhausted, and we were both panting. He goes, how does this guy do it? He goes, it's hot outside. It was in the summer, they were doing the Sefer Torah. And he's dancing up a storm, and he's in Simcha, and he's smiling, and
So he's living
He's
this.
living it. He's living it.
It works.
Just I'll meet him up.
So
yeah.
you're telling me you saw it.
Yeah, I see it regularly. You know these. You see that.
I see it. I see it. Yes, it's true.
Go to Uman. How did these guys make that trip? How did they do it with the Simcha? With the bands and the traveling and they're old people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
They're
a lot
old people.
A lot of old guys in Uman too.
There's a lot of old guys.
Old people.
Just like they're old.
But it's only old in the mind. See that?
And they're smiling and that.
But yes, it's old in the mind. Yes, look, you know, you can get a brand new computer, right? A really good computer, right? But that computer gets a virus. Will it work well?
No.
No, it won't work well, right?
No.
You have to do something to clean it up, right?
Yeah.
right? But as long as it has the virus, it's not working. But it's supposed to work, but it's not working. Then you can have an older computer that you put good protection on it so it doesn't get viruses. And he's working way better than the young one and the other, the new computer, right? You can always find the muscle for the nimshal. Right? Here, this older computer, it's running real good, and it's doing all the doing everything. And the other one can't, it won't do anything. Because he has a virus, and this one, it's good. The zikna, the sitra achra is the virus. The zikna, the kedusha, is cleansing it and is purifying it and constantly adding more memory. And it can work better and better and better. Okay? Shal zeh hispalel David al tashlicheni li'ez zikna. Right, we're going to be saying that soon, right?
You know, the Hamas terrorists.
Oh, here we go. yeah, Hamas.
They would release propaganda. You know, they'd video the hostages, and so they had them, the guys in the tunnel saying, "Please, don't forget me." And then they had this pasuk of Tehillim with Ksav Rashi written on it.
Yeah.
They knew
this pasuk here. Al tashlichenu li'ez zikna.
To get into my
No, don't let me be an old man in this.
This is what Hamas.
That's the sitracha, Yossi. You see what they're doing? They're going, Yossi, look at this. They're going right against, they know. Isn't that amazing? Yossi, can you believe it? They know and they believe it, but we don't know and we don't believe it. Isn't that pathetic? Come on. He's just testifying that Hamas knows that this is true. Hamas knows that this is true, right? That's what you just said, right?
They wrote.
They know this is true, and they believe it's true. But maybe it's right. I don't know. Maybe Reb Noson's right. Because we have the Yetzer Hara. This is the Sitrach and it's trying to pull us away. Don't you understand? It's amazing. Yes, come on. Is it not fascinating that you saw that and then you're here now today and you read this?
It made me, I'll never forget that puzzle.
Yeah.
It ingrained it in me.
Al tashlicheni le'ed
Watch their
zikna.
video with the Aryid and say, please don't, and then the Ksav Rashi, where they used.
No, but David HaMelech was saying that this is the zikna, the sitra achra. Protect me from that zikna, the sitra achra. I don't want to be part of that. Ki tzrichen lischadesh b'chol pam mechodesh. Like we learned constantly, we have to constantly be mischadesh kol pam mechodesh. Constantly renew ourselves to be new people. Every day we're new people. We make brachas every day. And we learned this in Hilchas Birchas HaShachar, in Lekutei Halachas, and if you guys remember, we make these brachas every day. Shelo yasani ovet, shelo yasani isha, shelo yasani goy, right? What is shelo yasani goy, shelo yasani ovet, shelo yasani isha? Okay, so shelo yasani goy, if I wasn't a goy yesterday, why am I a goy today? So why am I making the bracha again? Shelo yasani ovet. Okay, maybe I can understand that. Maybe I didn't become an Eved yesterday. Okay. Shelo yasani isha. Maybe today you really have to make that bracha. That you're not taking on the advice of the woke. No. But why? But no. Really. No. Seriously, no. Why are we making these brachas every day? Because we learned that every day we're new people. Every single day we're new people. Every day we're new. Every day we are new. So if we're new every day and we believe that. So just like a child is fresh and has a lot of vigor and a lot of energy, so too these people that you're describing, Yossi, these people get up in the morning, wow, I'm new today. It doesn't matter what was. I am today, right here now. And right? Yeah.
How many people in this, how many Jews in history became Christians? That bracha has a place.
Yeah, but how many Jews act like Goyim?
I understand, but again, every morning we're making these brachas. I mean, Lamaisa, you can't, a Jew is always a Jew. A Jew can't become a guy. Right? A Jew, afal pi shechatu Yehudi. Even though the Jew sins, he's still a Jew. Right? Even the Jew, he can scream, I am this, I am, he's still a Jew. It doesn't matter. That same guy, if he walks into shul and there's 9 people, he walks into shul, he's screaming, I'm Christian. He walks into, he can say Kaddish. Right? That same guy, screaming, right? He has his cross, doesn't matter. He's Jew. He can scream all he wants, he's a Jew. The same way all these people, they say, I'm a male, a female, this, they are what they are. They are what they were created, that's who they are. But that's the thing I understand. Every time to renew yourself, like I'm new today, has nothing to do with what happened yesterday. It has nothing to do with it. And I don't have to fall today to the zikna, the sitra achra. I want to be part of the zikna, the kedusha. Look at this. The koivei Hashem. Those that are hoping from Hashem, koivei, right? Those that are hoping, yachlifu koyach. They get their koyach is exchanged. They get, in other words, they're really old, but they get energy. See this, Yossi? This is the pasuk right here. Look at the words, Yossi. V'koivei Hashem yachlifu koyach. The ones that hope in Hashem and trust in Hashem, Hashem switches their energy. Yes, they're really old, but Hashem gives them the energy of the young person. And hence now the old guy is running around like the young guy, because he was yachlifu koyach. Yes, is that amazing? Every time he has koyach, new koyach. This is what it means, the zikna, the kedusha. This is such an important, vital lesson for us. Really, it's a vital, vital lesson. The Sitra is trying to always tell you, you can't do this. You're too old to start to learn now. You're too old. You can't learn now. You're too old. That's the Sitra. Of course you could learn. Rabbi Akiva was 40 years old when he started to learn. He became the greatest rabbi at 40. So all these people are saying, well, no, I didn't have the opportunity to go to the yeshiva. I didn't have the opportunity. I can't do it. Why? Rabbi Akiva didn't have the opportunity either. He had a little child, and he went to yeshiva with his child. Could you imagine that? He had a little 4-year-old, 5-year-old kid. He's in school, and he's sitting in this school with the kids. And he's learning the Aleph Beis with the kids. Is that amazing? He did. That's what he did. He was 40 years old. He could have just said, zikna the sitra achra, I'm 40. You know what, I'll take my kid to school and I'll make sure he has everything he needs, but I'm old. Right? Rabbi Akiva could have said that. And we would have been today. Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Shimon, right? We wouldn't have anything today. Living this way of zikna de kedusha and warding off the idea of the zikna de sitrach is an integral lesson that we must internalize, because this is trying to affect us all the time. I can't do it now. Now I can't start. I'm gone. No, as long as you're alive. If you trust in Hashem, Hashem will give you the energy that you need. Do you believe that?
Yeah.
Yossi, do you believe that?
There's even a song.
No, wait a second. You told me, you told me you experienced it when you were 20 years old. Now you understand why Hashem showed you that while you were 20 years old. Remember? That's why He showed it to you. This really works.
95 degrees outside.
And what?
see, it was 95 degrees outside. They're bringing the Sefer Torah in the summer. Long parking lot outside procession. And everyone, the rest of us Tootsocks in Cleveland,
Yeah.
are there. Took a clap, hanging under the tree by the refreshments, that the donors had, This guy, this Breslover, he's out there dancing up a storm, circles in front of the Torah, dancing it all the way. Everyone was in awe.
How's he doing that?
God, I go to the gym every day. I don't think I can do that.
No, because with Koyve Hashem Yachlifu Kaya. That's it right there, Yossi. Ay. Please, let's okay. Zeu eke bechinas zikna the kedusha, v'zeu bechinas Yosef atzadik shenikra al shem ze Yosef. He would always add. Yosef means to hosif, to add. He's always adding. What's he adding? The zikna, the kedusha that wards off the zikna, the sitracha. Yosef is from his name is because he's always adding. He's always adding. Again, let's take Yosef Atzadik. He's in the Beis HaSohar. He's in the jail. He's in jail. They put him in jail. Why was he put in jail? Because he didn't want to have relations with Mrs. Potiphar. So there he landed in jail. So then he could have really been upset at Hashem. You see that, Hashem? Shmira Sabriz, Shmira Seinayim, all of these things, I worked on it, and now I'm in jail? Yossi, could you imagine this kid? Could you imagine this guy?
He made it through the pit, and the brother...
He made it through the pit.
All right.
He was sold,
Right.
and he was sold to a slave. He was sold as a slave.
If I was his roommate, really, I was talking to him in the gym, I would say throw the towel in. I mean, you know what?
No, and wait a second. Now he's in the house of Potiphar,
Yeah.
and he's doing great there. And this lady is driving him crazy for a long time.
Not home, he's not in front
No,
of
she's driving him crazy for a long time. And every time he overcomes it. And why? Because he saw the most tuknai shalaviv. He saw his father's image, remember? He saw his father. And he remembered, he thought to himself, wow, if I do this thing now, what's going to be with me? What's going to be with me? My name has to be on the choshen, on the breastplate of the Kohen Gadol. Is my name going to be there? Yosef. Why is his name Yosef? Because he's always adding to Kedusha. And he doesn't get bent out of shape of anything. He's even in the Beis HaSohar. He becomes the head. He becomes like the warden of the Beis HaSohar. He's in prison, right? He's in prison. But not only that, he makes sure everyone else in the jail is happy. Could you imagine that, Yossi? He was working on making sure everyone was happy. He saw two guys. Hey, how come today you're not happy? Sir, don't you remember we're in jail? Who's happy in jail, right? We're not talking about, the U.S. Federal penitentiaries that are country clubs and all of that. This was not a jail like that. This was a jail, or like here in Israel, the Arabs, they live it so good in the jail, We're not talking about those guys, right? We're talking about, this was a jail that these people were really in the dumps. They were in a dungeon. And he wanted to know how come they weren't happy. So you see, Yosef Atzadik understood this idea of Simcha, of always doing everything b'Simcha. And you see, in the end, it worked. Yossi, did it work for him in the end?
Yeah.
He stuck with the program, right? He stuck with the program, and in the end, was he successful? Yeah, he became the viceroy of Egypt, right? He became the viceroy of Egypt. Could you imagine that? That's the main chiyas of every time, of always adding. Can we start Lamed Daled? Lamed Daled is long. Should we start Lamed Daled? Okay. Bedar ki muvan b'ksovim. Sheyakir v'Yosef yachad oilem Yud Gimel Pamim Shem Avaya Baruch Hu. How do you like that? If you take Yaakov and Yosef, and you add up the gematria, the numerical value of Yaakov and Yosef, it equals Yud K Vav K 26. Shem Yud K Vav K 13 times. Is that interesting? Zach, is that interesting? And we learned in Chavtes just before, now we're up Lamed Dalet Chavtes 29. Shekavon is Chanukah heim lahamshich Yud Gimel tikunei the dikna shem Yud Gimel midah shel rachamim. So we learned this idea, and we learned this many times. It came up in many different lessons. There's an idea of the Yud Gimel tikunei the dikna. Right, if the beard, there are 13 different points on the beard. Okay, the beard has 13 different points, which are connected to the Yud Gimel Midas Harachmim, the 13 principles of compassion, of Yud Gimel Midas Harachmim. V'tzorach lechavein b'shemainas yemei Chanukah b'chol laila shem ekya pa'amim ekya she'oila emes. And we learned this in Chavtes. Every night of Chanukah, you take the shame Ekya. Ekya is I will be. Ana zamin lemehevi. Remember we learned that? Ana zamin lemehevi. I'm prepared now to do what I have to do. That's shame Ekya. Right, again, from warding off the sitra achra, infusing the idea of the zikna de kedusha. Right? In other words, Yossi, this guy that you're talking about every morning got up, Ekya. Wow, I'm going to be somebody today. Today I know Zamin L'Mavi. I'm prepared to be somebody special today. And if today there's an Achnasa Sefer Torah, I'm going to do the best I possibly can. Why? Because I can't. Kabei Hashem Yachlifu Koyach. That's what he did, right? Every day. V'ike Shoyrish HaShloisha Yichudim Oilem Ner Ikoram hu yichud ha'elyon shehu avaya ekya ayim b'priyetz chayim b'kavonas Chanukah. Okay, so these are all the ideas of Chanukah from the Priyetz Chaim from Rav Chaim Vital. Now Reb Nosson is going to explain what this means. V'tovin kol zeh, and understand all of this. Rak zeh shekasavnu bekan. Meaning Yaakov and Yosef oilam Yud Gimel Pamim Shem Avaya ze einay moving sham bekavonas Chanukah ki im b'mokei macher. So if you're going to look up in what I'm telling you here, Reb Nosson says, if you're going to look up over there in the Priyetz Chaim from Rav Chaim Vital, you're not going to find this idea. You're not going to find this idea that Yaakov and Yosef together equal Yud Kei Vav Kei 13 times. That you won't find. According to these words, Lamaisa, for us to do and to come up with some good advice. Everything here is going to work out well. Bezrat Hashem, he's going to see now. We know that the Yesod of all Shemas of Hashem is really Yud Kei Vav Kei, which is the Shem of Rachamim, mercy, ahava, the HaKadosh Baruch Hu's compassion for Klal Yisrael. V'hu b'chinas etzem ha'emes, and that is the etzem, that is the essence of truth. Yud Kei Vav Kei. B'chinas ve'emes Hashem li'olam. As it says, ve'emes Hashem li'olam, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is emes, chosmai shel Hashem, like we learned, the chosim of Hashem, the signature of Hashem is emes, is for eternity. B'chol hayichudim she'oiskim hatzadikim b'chol Yisrael liyachad hashemais al yedei mitzvahs u'masim tovim. And the fact that every time we do a mitzvah, we say l'shem yichud kutshe b'richu shchinte b'dechilu u'rechimo. Do you know how that works? Right? Yes, you say that. Do you ever know? Do you know how that really works? You want to talk about that for a minute? You say l'shem yichud. I want to unify. In order for me to unify, kutsha brichu u'shchinte. I want to connect Hashem with the Shechina. Hashem, of course, is Hashem. The Shekhinah is the embodiment of all of Nefesh Klolis Yisrael. I want to bind the Shekhinah together with Hashem. And how am I going to do that? B'dechilu urechimu. Now, the Ari teaches that Kucha Brichu is the Vav of Yud Kei Vav Kei. Okay? The Hey is the Shekhinah. The second Hey is the Shekhinah. Then we say B'dechilu urechimu. What's the chilu? Fear. Reish is chachma yiras Hashem, right? We just said those that have yiras Hashem live long life, right? If I infuse a little bit of yiras Hashem into my mitzvah, right? Urechimu, which is love, right? Loving Hashem and having ahavas Hashem, right? That's how I'm the b'dechilu is the yud of Yud Kei Vav Kei. Rechimu is the Hey. So when I say L'Shem Yichud Kucha Brichu, I want to connect the Vav with the Hey. Kucha Brichu is the Vav, and the Hey is the Shechina. B'dechilu urechimu which is the Yud of Yud Kei Vav Kei. Rechimu, which was the second Hey, and then I have a complete Yud Kei Vav Kei.
What were the Yud, the first Yud and A?
The first Yud is connected to a fearing of Hashem. So I want to infuse fear into my mitzvah. And I want to infuse ahava into my mitzvah. B'dechilu urechimu. I want to put both fear and love. To have that balance. Because if I have fear and love, I have teferes. Right? Because we said that ahava is chesed, Yira is Yitzchak, and Yaakov Avinu is Teferes. I have the splendor, right? I can create the name. So here, Liyachet Hashemais Al Yedei Mitzvahs Amasim Tayvim. I am constantly unifying Hashem's name, which you said the essence of Hashem, whatever that means, based on what we're learning, is the Yud Kei Vav Kei. So I can unify the Shem Yud Kei Vav Kei via me doing mitzvos. V'hakol hu kifi habeirur shemivorim nitzotzes hakadoshim meyum kei aklipas. But how do I do that? When I pick up, when I can clarify the sparks, the holy sparks that are stuck amongst the klipos. How do I do that? When I do the mitzvah b'simcha. Right? When I'm doing a mitzvah b'simcha, I'm taking the sparks, the Shechina. I'm taking the Shechina that's stuck amongst the klipos, and I give the Shechina power to gravitate. Right? I wake up the Shechina via doing a mitzvah b'simcha, like we learned, right? Should we review it again for a second? Make sure we have it fresh. Right? You do a mitzvah b'simcha. So now the Shechina is dormant, stuck amongst the klipas in the Heichal HaTemura, because we're in the Heichal HaTemura, in the place of exchange. And the Shechina is stuck is stuck between the husks of impurity. When a Jew conjures up the courage to do a mitzvah b'simcha, and he does the mitzvah, and he says, L'shem yichud kucha brichu shchinte b'dechilu lechimu. And he says, I'm going to unify Hashem together with the Shechina. Together, and how am I going to do that? Because I'm going to infuse love and fear into my mitzvah. And he does that with joy. He turns on the Shechina. The Shechina gets energized. The Shechina becomes energized at that moment. And then as he does the mitzvah, the Shechina keeps gravitating up. And then the Shechina connects itself to Malchus, which is the sphera that it encompasses all the sphera. But it's the lowest one because Malchus has nothing by itself, right? But it has all the other spheres. It connects to Malchus. Malchus continues, the person's doing the mitzvah b'simcha, and it connects and it goes up and it connects itself to Netzach, Hod, and Yesod, the three. Netzach is the right leg, Hod is the left leg. Yesod is the bris kodesh, of course. We said that the left leg and the right leg are the raglin, the feet. The feet have energy now, and the feet are moving. And the feet gravitate up to the next set of three, which is Chesed, Gevura, Tiferes. Chesed is the right arm, Gevura is the left arm. Tiferes is the torso, of course. We said all the brachas come via the hands. Right? The same way Aaron and Kohen gave the brachas by lifting his hands, and the Kahanim today give their brachas when they do birchas Kahanim, they lift their hands, because all the brachas come via hands. And then you keep doing the mitzvah b'simcha. And then via doing that mitzvah b'simcha, it rises up, the next three rises up to what? To chachma, bina, das. Now you're getting really high, very high. So now we now have three sets of three, right? The first set of three was Netzach Chayid Yisoid. The second set is Chesed Gevura Tiferes. The third set is Chachma Bina Das, right? And then you're still doing that mitzvah b'simcha. You keep energizing, more energy, and then this beautiful package keeps rising up high until it reaches the Keter. And we learned in lesson 24. Rabbi Nachman taught us over there that when it hits the Keter, there's a batisha. It crashes. There's a crash. Because the Keter is saying is hamtana, wait. It doesn't let it go any further. It doesn't let it go further. And when that happens, that creates somehow tisha hecholin, 9 chambers. And because you're so high by the Keter, you're not in this airspace in this world. You're all the way up over there. And what is up there? The Arein Soif, Aragonas. That's all that's up on top. So these kalim get filled with the Aragonas, Arein Soif, the infinite light, the hidden light. And then it gets imbued upon the person that's doing the mitzvah. Now this person takes in all this light. And then he says, I feel something amazing. I don't know what it is. I can't identify with it, but I love the feeling. Right? Like we said, when a person the other way, if a person is an alcoholic and he drinks, so he feels something. He doesn't understand how it works. Who cares? He doesn't care. He likes the way it feels. Right? The guy shoots up or whatever he shoots up. He doesn't know how it works, why it works or whatever. He doesn't know it may kill him. He doesn't care. He feels good about it. Right? So this same guy feels something amazing. And then he wants to do another mitzvah b'simcha because he wants to get more light. He loves that feeling. And he wants another fix. But that's the zikna, the kedusha, not the zikna, the sitra achra. You understand? It's the same idea. We'll just plug the things together. You understand? The zikna, the kedusha means I get more light. I feel more energy. That's why Yossi, the old guy, had so much energy because he has this light, the Arein Soif. He gets this light that he has no idea. It's just like it's energizing him. Kaveh Hashem, Koivei Hashem, Yachlifu Koyach, because he gets this light, and it just energizes the guy. He doesn't understand that, right? People sometimes they take an energy drink, right? They're very down. They take an energy. Ooh, they feel something, right? You ever do that? You ever drink an energy drink, Yossi?
Yeah, I've had it.
Zach, you ever have an energy drink? You just feel, you wake up. Right? That's the light. That's the same thing, the light. Hakol hu kifi habeir shemevar nitzoytzei sekadosh miyom ke'eklipas. Zer bechinas ma shemevaya b'Torah zois emtzosa da'alma. The center point of the world. Right? That's lesson 24. Because Rabbi Yeshua ben Hanani was questioned by the 70 wise men of Athens. Meyema, how do you know this? They asked him, where is the center point of the world? And he answered them, it's right here in front of me. Meyema, how do you know? Right? That's what we learned, right? Who said? So he said to go get me a tape measure, and we'll measure the whole world, and I'll show you it's right over here. V'ayikar al yedei shemechazkim atzmam be'emes be'emuna ba'Hashem Yisbarach u'v'teirosei v'tzadikav hamitim shemoidim lanu oitzim noiros neflois kedushas kol mitzvah shehem chayenu v'chol kiyemenu lanetzach ad shezoichim lasos a mitzvah b'simcha. But when we connect to the tzadikim and we connect to their teachings and we learn from these tzadikim, And they teach us, and we finally believe, I'm going to do the mitzvah b'simcha. Today I'm going to put on my tefillin. I'm going to put them on with joy. Hashem gave me the opportunity to wear these beautiful boxes that were made out of leather. He made them out of leather. Why were they made out of leather? Tefillin should be made out of gold. Make them out of platinum, titanium. Make them out of something precious. Leather? Yeah, leather. Because you worked it. You worked it and they made them into something beautiful. That's the way the Shechina gets raised up. You want to raise up the Shechina? You want to help Hashem, so to say? You want to help Klal Yisrael? Don't we all want to help Klal Yisrael? Do a mitzvah with joy. Malchus min hagolos, to take the Malchus out of Golos. The Malchus of Hashem. Take it out of the Golos. Ad she'oila b'chol aliyos, until it can go all the way up to Netzach Yisod Chesed Gvura Chochma Bina V'das, until the Keter, like we said. Ad she'nasam b'chinas tes heicholin, v'loi misdapkin, v'loi misadin. Shemisham shoyrish kol hayichudim hasogas elikus shal tzadik yemes kamuvan lamaskel b'sifrei yemes. It's known to those that study the true Svarim, the holy Svarim, and understand the great value, the same way the Arizal taught us. They asked the Arizal, how, Arizal, there's a machlokes if he was 37, if he was 38, whatever, it doesn't matter. You're such a young man, either way, it doesn't matter, 37, 38, you're still a young man, right? How did you accomplish so much? How? How was he able to identify all the kfarim in the north? How was he able to do that? Yossi, a young man, is able to identify the grave sites of the kfarim because they were all destroyed and no one knew what anything was? Right? Is it true? Yossi, you're a tour guide, right? You know that, right?
People can live there. You can drive there now. You know where to walk and go.
But the Arizal was only a young man. He didn't have any technology. He didn't have AI. No. He didn't have your friend Yossi. Come on, Yossi, what did you have?
My friend.
But how did he know? He did a mitzvah with joy, he said. When he did a mitzvah with joy and he understood that, he got the R.A. in Saif, the Aragonas. When he's filled with the R.A. in Saif, filled with the Aragonas, he taps into the infinite light. He taps into the Aragonis where Adam Arishon, when he was in Gan Eden for the 36 hours, he was able to see Mesaif Oilamat Saifai. Could you imagine that? Yes, you could see what's going on in America. You know what's going on in Russia. You can know what's going on in Australia, in Africa, in Japan, in China, all at the same time. He could see everything. You don't need any cameras. His eyes were able to see it. Mesaif Oilam Ad Saifa. That means everything. So now you can understand. So if the Arizal is able to tap into this light, the Ar HaGonis, which Adam Arishon had, so of course he can see things of spirituality. And he saw the Shavas, he saw the names. He saw the names shining in the ground, and he saw this is this tzaddik. This, of course, what, you don't see it? No, I don't see it. But it's clear as day to me. But I don't see it. But he said he can see it. Why? Because he does a mitzvah with Simcha. And that's what we have to learn. We have to learn to do a mitzvah with joy and watch what we can accomplish. The most thing we can accomplish is warding off the sitra, the zikna, the sitra achra, and infuse more the zikna, the kedusha, like the name of Yosef is constantly adding. What's Yosef adding? He's adding kedusha on top of kedusha. Okay, we're going to stop over here in the Mirz Hashem. Tomorrow we're going to continue the lesson. We stop by ve'ikahu nekudas emes. The main thing is the point of truth. The main thing is the point of truth. Did you find that, David?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Any questions on this? Are we convinced yet a little bit that we do a mitzvah b'simcha? It could work, right, Yossi? Are you convinced it could work?
It could work. it's not just a nice idea. There's a reason behind it. You see it through our teachings and our people, and through the matrias and through all the mitzvos.
Yeah. Rav Nosson keeps qualifying his statement, right?
He keeps qualifying his
He
statement.
keeps qualifying it more and more qualified. Okay. Okay. What's
My
that?
comment would be, my comment is that personally, I need to remind myself of the times I've experienced the joy and repeat those. It's kind of like a muna. I have to keep working on my emuna.
Mordechai, we learned the idea that every time you get this, you have it's like a cup, and of oil, and then when the cup is filled with the oil, right, which is the chachma, like we learned about the oil, but then when you have the arida, but you're still left with the reshimu, you're still left with that imprint, and that's the memory that I remember that, and I want more of that. The same way we said. When a person, Chas v'Sholom, he's an addict, he remembers, well, that was great. I feel terrible right now, but I remember how good that was. I need another fix. The Rishimu is the feeling. That's the feeling of how close I was to Hashem, that energy I had in me. I want more of that energy. I want more of the energy. And while the person's experiencing his yerida, he remembers the energy, and it enlivens the person all over again. Okay, thank you for that comment, Mordechai. Okay, we're learning now Hilchas, we're in Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. Kol ha'shayna halachas b'chol yom muftach leishu ben olam haba. Right? Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, Simin Mem Aleph, which is 41. 41. We are now in David, where are we up to? We're up to Ches?
Yeah,
8? Okay, here we go. Oh, it's a long one. Okay, fine. Okay, we'll do it. Okay. Mitzvah livtzaya ala pasach hashuv yoiser. It's a mitzvah that when you wash and you're making the hamotzi, pick the best bread. And we learned, what is the best bread? White bread. White flour. Not like they tell you today you want spelt, or today they tell you want to have whole wheat and all of that. No, in halacha, bread that's refined, flour that's refined, and the bran is taken out of it. The more bran that's taken out of the bread is the finer flour has more chashivas. Okay, v'lacheinim yesh lefanav chatichas pas v'pat shleima. If you have in front of you pieces of bread, the pat shleima, or you have a loaf of bread that's complete. And during the meal, you want to enjoy both of these pieces of bread, both from the complete one and both from the slices of bread that you have. And they're both from the same. They're the same ingredients, the same type of flour. Even though in this case there may be just a little roll. There may be just a little roll made from this flour. But there may be big pieces of bread, slices of bread of the same flour. Or it's not as clean. Let's say the little bread is not as clean. It has a little more bran in there. You understand? It's not as clean as the beautiful white flour bread. Whenever you have a shleima, we learned that. Whenever you have a bread that's complete, shalem, it's complete, you wash, and again, you're going to eat both of these breads. So wash and make the betzia of sapas on the whole bread. And where do you make the betzia of sapas? Where it cracked on the top, because it baked a little more. But if they're not from the same min, they're different types of flour. But maybe in this case, the shleima would be today, like they tell you, it's a whole wheat bread, which is not as good I understand. Everyone's going to say, well, what are you talking about? It says I saw the YouTube video and I saw this and they told me that the whole wheat, Yossi, they told you that the whole wheat is better, right?
Yeah.
But Shulchan Aruch doesn't agree with that. Here, look at this. Here, Aval im ein mimin echad, ela shashleima mimin garua. What does garua mean? It's a lower quality. What does garua mean? Lower quality, right? Kigoin shashleima pas kusmin. Maybe the whole one is spelled. Why they tell you, wow, kusmin, the flour kusmin, the spelled. Oh, it's very good. Shulchan Aruch doesn't agree. I'm sorry. V'achatichu pas chitim, and the bread, the slice in this case is regular wheat. Regular wheat. Afilu hi kitana, even if the slice is smaller than the loaf. Here, look at this. Even if the slice is smaller than loaf, mevorach ala chitim, make the bracha on the white flour. So here you go. You have two rolls. You have a nice roll that's spelt. You have a nice roll that's 7 grains, or whatever they call it, whole wheat. And now you have a little piece of bread that's flour, that's made out of pure white flour. Put away the other bread and wash on the white flour. That's how important it is. And what happened if the shleim is from so'irim, barley? They ever make barley bread? They ever see that? I never saw that. You ever see barley bread? David, are you allowed to eat that?
Possibly, but I've never seen it.
They have it. Look, see that? You can make bread out of barley. How do you like that? Even though it's lower than chitin, but look at this. Again, the pasuk in Devarim, if you want to remember where it is, it's chapter 8 in Devarim, in Deuteronomy, pasuk 8. It's very easy to remember, right? Deuteronomy 8:8. All right, you want to look up. You know, you can always look in that pasuk. It tells you Eretz Chita Saira, and it's Eretz Chita Saira. Saira is the second one on the list. So we said that the Saira, which is the barley, is the second one on the list. V'lachein yarei shemayim yesh le'lechalei kavod gam lazeh shel Saira mushlema. So if someone's a yarei shemayim, and maybe he doesn't like the barley as much, but hey, you know it's in the pasuk. Hashem says it's good. You see this? Hashem says it's good. So if the person's a Yarei Shemaim and he wants to do the right thing, then he should wash and he makes the bracha on the barley. So take the white bread, that little white piece of white bread that you have, put it underneath the shlema. You have the roll. Now you have this quandary. Do I want to wash and break bread on the whole one or the piece of bread? So now we're saying because it's sa'ira, because it's barley, so I really want to give that preference. But if I have the chita showing out, I'm not giving cover to the chita. So take the piece of bread, put it underneath the sa'ira. So it's mechasa, you're covering it. Hold them both in your hand and make the mitzvah on both of them at the same time. How do you like that? Come on, is that amazing? You don't have no problem now. You can do that with any of them. If you have the shalom, take the other one, put it in, wash on both of them. So you have the idea of the shalom, and you have the white flour bread, the white bread. It doesn't mean white bread like we call white bread. It's the white flour bread that's made out of white flour. You put the chaticha underneath. Look, anyway, if you have a roll that's made out of white flour, of course you wash on that. There's no question about it. But now we're talking about if you have other rolls and then white flour bread that's sliced, what do you do? That's the question that we do here. What do we do? Okay, you understand? All right, let's finish the piece. What happens if both of them are whole? Or both of them are sliced. So you have sa'irim, you have barley bread, and you have white bread, sliced. Ushteyem mimin echad, or two of them are from the same min. It doesn't matter. Yivarech ala nikiya yoser. You make the bracha on the one that's cleaner. Cleaner means less bran, less chaff in there. Chaff. We don't want the chaff. We don't want the junk. We want to clean out the junk. Yes, and you're going to tell me, yes, but they tell you it's healthy. So you want to eat bran, but not when you're washing. Not when you're washing. You want to eat some bran, you want to eat some oatmeal, whatever you want to eat it, no problem. But when you wash, these are the laws of when you're washing. What you give credence to, what you give preference to. Okay. Yivarach ala nikiya Yosef im shteyem shavos b'nikiyas. But what happens if the two of them are equal and they're both from clean? They're clean. Yivarach ala Yosef gedola. So now you have two pieces of bread. You know, like on the loaf, when you have a loaf, right? So the loaf is bigger in the middle, right? Usually, right? The loaf is usually bigger in the middle, and then it gets smaller as it goes to the ends. So you have two pieces on the same loaf. It's from the same loaf, but now it was sliced. So which one do you make the blessing on? You take the bigger piece, because you want to give more credence to the bigger piece, more chashivas to the bigger piece, and therefore you make the bracha on the bigger piece. Okay? And again, this is our lesson for today. Ches and Emetz Hashem will do test tomorrow. We're going to learn about Pas Yisrael, Pas Akum, and we have those that are Nizam on Pas Akum. Okay, so if we should all have a wonderful day. And remember today, you have to add more Kedusha on Kedusha, because you want to increase your Zikna de Kedusha over the Zikna de Sitra. Kol Tov, everybody.